Welcome back to Aghalee Farm. Now before I get started on this video, and it is going to be a short video tonight and I'll explain why shortly, but before I get started I'd just like to say that it's now been 2 years since a good friend of of a lot of YouTube farming people passed away. Eustace Pharmer, or Atomic Farming 67, Atomic Gaming 67, sorry, depending on when you started watching his videos, as which name you'd know him as. Well, it's now been 2 years since he passed. I know that he's kept alive in the memories of a lot of us, and there's a lot of people that he's helped with videos and things. I didn't actually personally start making videos until sometime after he'd passed, but AK, who was definitely a protege of Eustace Pharmers, has been a protege of has helped me a lot. So I'm AK's protege, and Fury Machine Gaming's, and both of them had a lot of to do with Fury. So I suppose I could say by grandparenting rules, he's helped me a lot. Now, on this map, I think I did mention in my last video that I was rebuilding this map, and we'll go for a short ride here. So there's only 2 things I've changed since I first did the map, and the first one is just down here a wee bit. So this paddock here is this gateway right here with the 2 big concrete pillars on either side of it. Now to me that looks like it's now just a gateway into another paddock. But with these big concrete pillars here, it kind of looks to me like it was a gateway into something quite important, like perhaps the old manor house. Now I have been looking around for mods of building ruins, and I've found some of wooden building ruins, but I haven't found any stone building ruins I really like the look of. And I thought that really the old manor house should be stone. So I have found a mod of placeable rocks, big rocks. I thought I could put a few rocks down this paddock here, which would be the remains of the old farmhouse. All that's left of it is a few rocks, but I'm still looking for an actual old ruined farmhouse, a stone one first, that just a ruin, so I could perhaps use as the old manor house. So that's the main change I've made since the last time I was using this map, is that I've taken out the farm shop that was in there, because I decided it was just too big and I didn't like it. And I have made one other change, and if we go down here a wee bit, I can point it out to you. See these ruins on the right hand side here, if I put 2 of those against each other to sort of double the size of the house, that would be perfect for the old farmhouse kind of look that I'm after. But I can't find a placeable version of that, unfortunately. Now if I come down here, this gate here, those of you that have watched previous videos of mine would have seen my version of my map of BallySpring Farm, and that farm, because it's a slightly bigger farm, it's still a family run farm, so it's not that big, but it's slightly bigger than this one, certainly, so it has a decent sized stockyard in it. This farm here is much smaller, so it has another kind of stockyard, which is also very, very common to see on very small farms in New Zealand, where you have a gate off the road into a paddock like this, and then you have back from the gate, so about a truck length back, and here's this room here for a stock truck to back in, you have an unloading ramp and a very, very small stockyard. So that's what I've got here, and it's pretty much, it's out from the edge of the paddock by a truck length, so it does look a wee bit odd, because here it is just a very, very tiny stockyard sitting in the middle of a paddock. But that is quite a common sight to see that sort of thing in New Zealand for smaller farms. Just a very, very small stockyard like that, out from the edge of the paddock. So I've done that here. Now it's funny that I keep on putting these New Zealand touches into these Irish maps that I play, and instead of playing a New Zealand map, and there is a reason for that, and I'm going to explain it. But let's go and put this motorbike back. So New Zealand is made up of 3 islands, and when you look at them when you look at New Zealand on a globe, the three islands are vertically stacked on top of one another, and because they're quite skinny but long islands, and they're vertically stacked, that's why all of New Zealand is in the same time zone. If you were to do a quarter turn of New Zealand and turn it a quarter turn on the globe, we would cross we'd be in at least two different time zones, but because it's fairly vertically stacked, all of New Zealand's in the same time zone. Now, the smallest of the three islands at the very bottom of New Zealand is called Stewart Island, and Stewart Island, no one lives on Stewart Island. It is in fact used as an animal sanctuary, and that's all it's used for, so you can't travel to Stewart Island without a permit. And it's a very, very small island. The main two islands of New Zealand, very uniquely, are called North Island and South Island. Okay, so the New Zealand maps that are on Farming Simulator, and there are a few of them, not many, but a few, tend to be, in my opinion, South Island maps. That either South Island of New Zealand or the makers have used poetic license in building them. And the reason I say that is simple. The North Island and the South Island are quite different from each other in New Zealand in a lot of ways. The South Island has a lot of mountainous region, so most of New Zealand's ski resorts, not all of them, but most of them, are in the South Island, and there's not a very large population in the South Island. It's very, very spread out, so there's not a lot of people there, and therefore the farms in the South Island are bigger. So they have big paddocks, and they have big yards, big enough to turn trucks around in and things like that. And that's what all the New Zealand maps I've found on Farming Simulator tend to be. Bigger, more spread out, room for bigger tractors and bigger trucks and things. So they appear to me to be South Island farms. North Island farms are a lot more like the farms you see on these Irish maps, where they're very, very tight. They've got small, tight yards, and they've got very, reasonably small paddocks, so you can use small tractors in them. And that's what North Island farms are more like. So pretty much what I would say is any Irish map you like, if you replace the stone walls and the hedges with fences, 7-wire fences, so they have 7 wires on them, and fences that look something like, I'll take you for a quick run up here and I'll show you what I mean. No, not those ones, they've got vertical wires on them as well, so not fences like that. Fences like this one over here, which I've put in, split this paddock into 2. So fences just like that, they have 7 wires, and the top one would always be barbed. So barbed wire along the top, and 6 underneath it. So yeah, on any Irish map, if you replaced all the hedgerows and all the brick walls with wire fencing like that, and the other thing you'd need to do is replace any stone buildings. So you see this one's got barbed wire along the top, but the wires at the bottom are in squares instead of just rows. If you replaced any stone buildings and farm sheds with either wooden buildings or corrugated iron buildings, then again, very much New Zealand. So that's why I quite like playing Irish maps. They remind me a lot of New Zealand, because New Zealand does sometimes have some hedge work, but not a lot of it. You're more likely to see wire fences, 7-wire fences, rather than hedging like that. You definitely wouldn't see much in the way of stone fences. It would all be wire fences. And as I said, any stone buildings you see, replace them with wooden buildings or corrugated iron buildings, and then pretty much any Irish map could very, very easily pass for a New Zealand farm then, but for a North Island New Zealand farm. The South Island farms are more like the New Zealand maps that you find, more spread out and things, but since I like a nice tight farmyard where I like only having small tractors and things, I use the Irish maps, and they still give me that New Zealand feel to it, and so I like putting these New Zealand touches like the stockyards and things in them, and the milking sheds. On this particular farm, to make it a bit different from my BallySpring farm, I've kept the big milking shed that's here, even though I don't have enough cows to really need a huge milking shed like it's got. But yeah, I just wanted to make it a bit different for my BallySpring farm. So I've kept the big milking shed, but I still intend to not put my animals in the barn over winter. I will leave them out in the paddocks and just put straw bales out in the paddocks as well over the winter months, as well as the normal feed they're going to have. Now, the reason that I haven't released a video for a bit, and they probably will be a bit sporadic for the time being, I'm sorry, is that on the weekend we put an offer on a house and our offer was accepted. So I don't know for certain that we're shifting yet, because that offer was contingent on us selling our house that we already own. So it's on the market now, and that means that that my wife and I have been cleaning like mad things, because we're not untidy people anyway, but there's a big difference between a clean, tidy house that you're living in and enjoying, and a clean, tidy house that has to be clean enough for people to be shown through and you try and get top dollar for. So yeah, we've been cleaning like mad things. We're going to have real estate agents for the next month showing people through on a regular basis and things. So I may not get a chance to put out much in the way of videos, especially if we do manage to sell this, because then we'll be shifting in about a month and we'll have to pack everything, move it all, and then unpack it. I'll have to get new internet put on at the new house and things. So yeah, the videos may be a wee bit sporadic for the next month, and if so, that's why, but I'll put one out when I get the chance. Okay, hope you all enjoyed this video, and I know it's a short one, but I'll let you all go now. Thank you very much. Bye.